Evening and welcome to my new YouTube channel, The Seattle Shoe Guy. My passion for shoes started about 3 decades ago. However, I used to live in LA and I moved to Seattle, and I realized the shoe culture in Seattle was almost for fine shoes non existent. So, for the last 7 to 8 years, I've been advising friends and professionally on shoes and how to pair shoes with suits, casual attire, and so forth. A friend of mine suggested, hey, why don't you start a YouTube channel? I said, well, why not? Let's give it a shot. And thus, my first episode. I actually got my first inspiration for shoes from a book my dad had given me called The Gentleman, A Timeless Fashion. This was roughly in the year 2001 when I just graduated college. I was looking for a good pair of shoes to wear with my suit. And my dad gave me this book, actually gave it to me and my brother, and he wrote an inscription to Ash and Talal, gentlemen not only by apparel and adornment, but also by heritage, breeding, and good manners. Dad, 2001. So this book inspired me quite a bit on shoes because they said a gentleman's shoes is the most important element of the entire attire, right? You can have a beautiful suit, but if you don't have good shoes, it just brings that whole look down. Also, Bernard Russell in this book talked heavily about a brand called Churches. So, me not knowing much about shoes, he had a whole section on this brand of shoes called Churches. And he talked about the Captos, the Oxfords, the Darbys, and so forth. Luckily for me, I used to live in LA at that time. There was a Churches store in Beverly Hills on Brighton Way. So me and my wife went into the store, and the price of these shoes was steep for a young college graduate. But my dad's always said, if you are buying something, buy the best you can afford. And I couldn't afford it, but my wife volunteered to pay for it. And she bought me two pairs of shoes. The first pair I bought is a Church's Darby. I have those shoes here. They came in these beautiful shoe bags with Church's on it. And this pair of it's a Darby because it's open laces, right? And we'll talk about in another episode the differences between Darbys and Oxfords. But the first shoe I wanted was something that is very versatile, where I can wear it with a suit, where I can wear it for dinner, go to church, go to formal events, and technically I have pulled this off even with a tuxedo. I do a beautiful mirror shine, and this pair of shoes that I've had for over 20 plus years have stood the test of time. It used to come with good shoe trees from churches those days, and it says custom grade, excellent pair of shoes. There's a lot of chatter about after Prada bought Churches, is the quality the same? For me, this shoe has not let me down. It's a Derby, very versatile, really good sole. It's a single sole, it's not a double sole. 5 eyelets, right? And when I do a mirror shine on this, I've not shined these for a while. It's just spectacular. The leather is great. It looks like full grain leather, not corrected. Um, Goodyear welted. So it's important for someone who's buying their first pair of shoes to understand 3 or 4 elements of the shoe. If it's your first pair, you're going to spend over $600-700 on a pair today of pair of Churches. Look for 2 or 3 specific elements of that shoe. Number one, is that pair of shoe going to be very versatile? And the most versatile shoes are a black Derby, simple, no captor, no broken, which is the holes and the medallions. Number one, can I wear this as often as I want for formal events, interviews, presentations, board meetings, you know, sales conferences, and so forth. Number two, is it Goodyear welted? Now you can have blade construction, NVGs, storm welds, and we'll talk about the different types of welds. If it is Goodyear welted, you can resole this pair of shoes multiple times. I mean, this I have not resoled it once, and it has stood the test of time, like I said, for over 20 years. But I don't wear this all the time either. The third is, so the sole is the third element. If you live in Seattle, a leather sole might not be very versatile. It rains a lot. I would get something like a day-night sole or a dual sole where there's a rubber protector or a rubber section um, attached to a leather sole. So three things: uh, the type of shoe, right, for versatility. Number two is the welting, so that you can resole it. I would highly avoid cemented pasted soles. There are some brands of that nature in malls. Uh, Starts with A. I used to buy them. Please avoid them. And third one is the type of sole, right? And if you want a fourth, it's the quality of leather. Buy a good brand, so that the leather they use in by companies like Allen Edmonds, Alden's, Berluti, John Lobb, Trotter and Jones. I can go on, and I'll be doing many reviews of each one of these brands. The leather they use is fantastic. It's full grain calf leather. You can get it to a beautiful mirror shine when time permits. And so that's about it. So first pair of shoe, buy a black pair of shoes, very versatile, and always use a shoe tree when you store it. Brush your dirt off after using it for the first time. And yeah, that's my first pair of shoe. I'll be doing another review of my second pair shortly, so please do subscribe. um, and if you have any questions, send me an email to the Seattle Shoe Guy at gmail.com, and I will get back to you. Have a great evening and Happy New Year's.